Times people focus more on their weakness and say, this is my weakness. I cannot do without it. Why not look for your strength and focus on it and develop your strength? Hi, thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of Wisdom Insight with Shaul God's Power. And if this is your first time of coming across our videos, please do it to click on the subscribe button, which is just down. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for always coming back to view our videos. And on today's episode, we'll be talking about 10 steps on how to become creative. Now, if you check our other videos for the past 2 weeks, we'll be talking on creativity and why you need to be creative, and 4 dangers on not being creative in this year 2022. And today we want to talk about how to become creative, 10 steps. Now, in a brief, number one steps on how to become creative is for you to start thinking in a positive light. Now, most people spend the whole of their life thinking about the negative things that have been happening to them, thinking about the dark days they've had, thinking about the evil days that came upon them, and despite the light that is ahead of them, they never think about the light. They keep thinking about the past, the negative things that have happened to them. And that becomes a hindering factor to them thinking positively. So if you must become creative in 2022, then you must begin to think in a positive light. Begin to see the light out of every dark moment of your life. Now be informed that there will definitely be dark days in your life, but in order for you not to be stagnant, you must not dwell on those dark days. You must not dwell on those negative things that have happened to you. You must begin to think in a positive light. Let your mind be transformed and think positively. And also, number 2 point on how to become creative in this year is try doing things in a new way. Try doing things in a new way. If you did something and you failed, even if you did something and you succeeded, when you want to do it next time, don't do it the same way you did it. Add a little touch of difference in it, then try to see ways you can do it better than yesterday, so that you don't become a one-way person. Try doing things in a new way, and you discover that you will become creative. Number 3, set for yourselves higher standard than that of yesterday. If you had a huge success yesterday by the standard you followed, set a higher standard for yourself today. Set a higher standard for yourself tomorrow. And by that way, when you set higher goals, higher standards, you discover that you begin to think in a higher creative way to do those higher things. But if you don't set higher standards for yourself, higher goals for yourselves, you discover that you just want to do things the way you have been doing it, and you will not be creative. But when you set higher standards, you think in a creative way to achieve that high standards you set for yourself. And the 4th point, be flexible in your thoughts. Don't be rigid in thinking. Be flexible in your thoughts. Don't be rigid in thinking. So many a times people spend the whole of their life doing things one particular way, the way they have known it as their grandfather had done it. That is the way they want to do it, the way their father did it, and they want to do it that same way. So they just want to maintain a pattern. They don't want to break out of that cycle. Why not think out of the box? There are better ways you can do things. Don't be so rigid in your mentality. The way your parents had a relationship between themselves, that is how you yourself you want to maintain that pattern. No, there are better ways. Be flexible to think that, to know that there are better ways you can handle your relationship. Be flexible enough to know that there are better and creative ways to handle the ministry God has given to you. Are you a music minister and you just want to do it the same rigid way, you have been doing it for 20 years? Are you an instrumentalist? You have been playing the keyboard for the past 20 years and there is no change. Why not think of other ways? Somebody comes and plays better than you. Don't you think that person is doing something that you are not doing? Why not learn from that person and become better? So don't be so rigid that you think the way you are doing it is the best way. No, there are better ways you can do it. Learn from people. Be flexible in your thoughts. Be flexible in your thinking. Be flexible in your mind and learn. Even if it is the least of person, be flexible enough to learn from that person. Be more about problem solving. Be more about problem solving. Now, when you are about problem solving, you become creative. Now, problem solvers are creative thinkers, because when you are all about solving problem, you want to bring about new ways to solve things, and that is creativity. You want to think on new thoughts, new concepts on how to handle things. When you see a problem, you want to think out of the box to solve it. But if you're not about problem solving, if you don't care about problems and you don't want to solve them, you will never be creative, because you just want to leave things undone. But problem solvers are creative thinkers. So if you must be creative in this year 2022, then you must think of problems to solve. Encourage your personal strength. Now we must understand in life that everybody has their strengths and weaknesses, but you must not glorify your weakness above your strength. Rather, glorify your strength above your weaknesses. Many times, people focus more on their weakness and say, this is my weakness. I cannot do without it. Why not look for your strength and focus on it and develop your strength? And when you develop your strength, you discover that your weakness has no place where your strength is. So, encourage your personal strength. If you have a personal strength in writing, please develop it. If you have a personal strength in playing instrument, please develop it. And that way, you will become better and you begin to think creatively. Then number 7, avoid quick judgment. Now, this is one factor that kills creativity. When you are too quick to judge, you will not be creative. So avoid quick judgment. Don't jump into conclusions. When you see somebody doing something and excelling, don't be so quick to judge that person. When you see somebody failing in something, don't be too quick to judge that person. So avoid anything that will bring about quick judgment over issues, over people's life, over people's opinion. Rather, when people give you an opinion, sit down and think about it. Don't just judge quickly. Then, number 8, avoid fear of criticism. When you are afraid of people criticizing you for the things you do, you will not be creative. When you want to do something differently, don't be afraid of the fact that people will criticize you for it. Don't be afraid of the fact that people might want to speak against it. No. When you do things differently, definitely there will be those who will speak against it, but later end will speak well for you. So don't be afraid of criticism, because now what you must understand that criticism is part of the human life. If you are progressing, people will criticize you. If you are not progressing, people will criticize you. So in order for you not to remain stagnant, move forward. Do that thing you want to do and let people criticize you and let them see the result of it. And number 9, avoid people and environment that is not creative. Now you must understand that there are environments that are not creative enough. There are environment that people there, they are not creative, they don't want to think creatively, and they wouldn't even encourage creativity. Now, if you find yourself among such people, please avoid them. leave such environment and go to where we encourage your creativity. And lastly, avoid poor time management. Avoid poor time management. Don't sit and waste the whole of your day without doing nothing. Plan your day, plan your time. If you go to work, plan your time at work. You will definitely have responsibilities to carry out. But at your free period, plan your free period. Know what to do with your free period. If it is to meditate, sit and meditate. If it is to go through a book, sit and go through a book. Now that way you become creative. But if you don't manage your time, you discover that the whole of your day will be wasted, the whole of your week will be wasted, the whole of your month will be wasted, and the whole of your year might be wasted without achieving anything. So, if you must be creative, you must follow these 10 steps, at least these 10 steps on how to be creative. Remember, I said start thinking in a positive light, try doing things in a new way, try doing, set for yourself higher standards, be flexible in your thoughts, be more about problem solving, encourage your personal strength, avoid quick judgment, avoid fear of criticism, avoid people and environment that is not creative, and lastly, avoid poor time management. And when you do this, you discover that your life will become better in this year 2022. So thank you for being part of today's episode of Wisdom Inside, which I will be talking about creativity. Thank you so much and have a nice day. But if you have not subscribed, please do have to click on the subscribe button. And thank you. God bless you. Have a great weekend.